Hello, Mole Class! Welcome to episode 3 of The Creakers! Very exciting. I hope you're all doing well and doing lots of work, being nice and stay safe at home. We're going to start where we left off. This is actually my second time recording this, so bear with me because the first time my device deleted the video. So bear with me on this one, and I hope you have fun listening. Here we go. Okay. They've been throwing eggs at my house since the grown-ups disappeared, so I set some traps for them, Norman said with pride. Lucy stood up and dusted herself off. Wow, she said, looking around Norman's front garden, which she now saw he turned into a fully functioning campsite. There was a hammock tied between the tree and the drain pipe on Norman's house. A sundial made of sticks and stones, and scattered along the entire perimeter was an assortment of handmade snares and traps, like the one Lucy had managed to get caught in. There was a campfire with a pan of beans boiling to a bubble on top, and around it some wooden chairs carved from a tree trunk. "Did you make those?" Lucy asked. Norman nodded, indicating a woodwork badge on his uniform. "And I put that up myself," he added, pointing to an enormous green tent pitched on the grass nearby. It was large enough to sleep 10 people at least, Lucy thought, although through the opening she could see just one single Transformer's sleeping bag. "Why are you sleeping out here, though, and not in your bedroom?" Lucy asked. Norman suddenly looked a little embarrassed. It's silly, really," he said, staring at his feet. "What is?" asked Lucy. "Oh, it's nothing. I just had a funny dream and got a bit..." "Frightened?" Lucy asked. But Norman was saved from having to answer by the voice that came crashing down the street towards him. "Look, it's Abnormal Norman!" called a scruffy kid as he and 2 more boys on bikes whizzed past. "Abnorman's got a girlfriend! Hey, love nerds, eat this!" one of them yelled as the 3 boys hurled eggs at Norman and Lucy. "Quick, hold this!" Norman ordered, shoving a metal shield into Lucy's hands. She instinctively held it up in front of her head, feeling the thud, thud, splat of eggs crashing on impact. There you go. If you can see it. There we go. "See you loser lovers later," the bike boys cackled as they wheelied off into the distance. "Are you okay?" Lucy said, lowering the egg-covered shield. "Me? Yeah, I'm used to it," Norman said, shrugging off the moment. But Lucy could tell by the little twitch of his lip that he was upset. Lucy had never really taken the time to get to know Norman at school. Of course she knew who he was. Everyone did. He was the geeky kid, the one who no one wanted to sit next to at lunch or get paired with in PE. The one who brought a packed lunch instead of eating school dinners, and the one who climbed to the top of the tallest tree and stayed there all the way through break, watching birds through his binoculars. He was different. Lucy suddenly remembered what her dad would say. "You know, it's the different people who make a difference," she told him. Norman blushed. "Yeah, and they get free breakfast," he replied. "Huh?" "Eggs!" Norman smiled, taking the shield away from Lucy and showing her that it was actually a large frying pan. She laughed as Norman held it over the campfire and began to fry the eggs. "You can help yourself to some orange squash and a biscuit while you wait. If you sign up," Norman said, motioning towards a clipboard he'd attached to his front gate. "Sign up?" Lucy asked. "Yes. A crisis is the perfect opportunity to recruit new members for the Whiffington Scout Troop. Girls can join too, you know," Norman said, flipping the eggs. "Oh, I see. Well, maybe not today," Lucy said politely. She didn't want to offend him, but joining the Scouts was the last thing on her mind. "Well, I can't guarantee there'll be a space for you if you don't put your name down today," Norman warned. "Oh, how many new members have you got then?" asked Lucy. "Well, it's still just me. Just one member at the moment. But if my intuition is anything to go by, I'd say interest in the Scout group is about to pick up in a major way. I've printed flyers and everything." "I've got the intuition badge, you know," Norman said, proudly showing off a yellow badge with a strange eye on it. I see, said Lucy. And what does your intuition say about finding our parents? Norman paused and looked sad. I don't know. I mean, that letter sounded pretty final to me. I don't believe it for 1 second, said Lucy. My mum wouldn't just leave me like that. There's something fishy going on, and I'm going to find out what it is. The only fishy thing going on is the pong from your dad's truck. I don't think they're ever coming back, Lucy. Whiffington is our town now, Norman said gloomily. It's like a nightmare, Lucy sighed. Norman's face suddenly scrunched up like he'd smelled a bad smell, and not just the stink coming from Lucy's dad's truck. What is it? Lucy asked. You just reminded me. I had a nightmare last night, said Norman. Lucy's heart stopped for a moment. So did I, she said. Mine was really weird. Mine too. I dreamt I saw this thing. Yes, Lucy said. These shiny, gleaming eyes, and it was all dark and shadowy, and it was hiding under your bed, Lucy interrupted him. That's why you came and set the tent up out here, isn't it? Norman stared at her. How do you know that? He asked. Lucy looked up at the window of Norman's bedroom. How was it possible for them both to have the same dream, the same nightmare? Unless it wasn't a nightmare at all. Unless what they'd both seen in the night, those black eyes, were real. Lucy and Norman stared at one another in silence. Boo! Shrieked a high, shrill voice from behind Norman's fence. Ella! Lucy cried, her heart pounding as Ella Noying stepped out into the street wearing an old wedding dress which trailed along behind her. I couldn't help it, Ella laughed. Your face is. Ella, what are you wearing? Lucy said in utter disbelief. What, this old thing? Oh, it used to belong to Mama. I've had it for years, darling. Ella beamed, dragging the dress along the ground as she swished it. What on earth is around your neck? Norman asked. My jewels, they belonged to my dad, but they look far better on me, don't you think? Ella said, trying to swing the chunky gold chain, which was obviously too heavy for her. That's your dad's? Norman asked. Her dad is the mayor of Whiffington. It's part of his uniform, Lucy explained. Which means that now he's gone, I am the new mayor of Whiffington, Ella announced, completing her look by perching a triangular hat that she'd folded out of paper on top of her bouncy hair. The word mayor was scribbled in felt-tip pen on the front. I'm not sure that's how it works, Norman told her. It doesn't matter anyway, because your parents are definitely coming back, just like my mum is definitely coming back, and Norman's dad too, Lucy said firmly. So if I were you, I'd take those things off right now. Ella ignored Lucy. Mama isn't here, Mama isn't here, no one can stop me, Mama isn't here. There's Ella Noying with all her things on. Mama isn't here, she sang merrily as she twirled around like a princess. Lucy suddenly had a thought. Hey, Ella, she said, what did you dream about last night? Ella pretended to think. Can't remember, she said as she came skipping back down the road towards them. Please try. When you woke up this morning, did you remember what you dreamt? Ella looked up at Lucy and pretended to zip up her lips. If you tell us, I'll let you have some eggs, Norman said, waving the pan temptingly. Ella's eyes narrowed. Runny ones? She asked. Norman nodded and Ella unzipped her lips at once. Well, it was just the same dream I have every night, she said. And what's that? Said Lucy. It's a funny dream, really, Ella said. You know that one when you dream about the creature that lives under your bed? Lucy and Norman looked at each other. What, the chickens? Lucy breathed softly. It was at that moment that Lucy and Norman both realised their nightmare wasn't a nightmare at all. There had been something under their beds last night, and Lucy had a funny feeling that this was all connected somehow. The grown-ups disappearing, the creatures under the bed. What could possibly happen next? Remember I said what's worse than a creaker? Chapter 7, 4 Creakers. Lucy jumped into bed that night faster than she'd ever done before. She was so fearful that something might grab her ankles from underneath the bed as she climbed up that she literally leapt from the floorboards to the mattress and pulled her bed covers up and over her head. She didn't even bother to take off her dungarees, brush her teeth, or tidy the house. She left it all messy and grubby. And what a grubby mess it was! There was all sorts of rubbish and litter scattered here, there and everywhere, from the piles of children who had been in and out of her house over the last couple of days. So many crumbs of breakfast cereal had been trodden into the carpet that it felt more like walking on sand. She'd been so busy confiscating dangerous items from Wally Chop's children today that, unlike yesterday, she hadn't washed the dishes, emptied the rubbish bins, or done any washing whatsoever. The house was quite simply disgusting. Ugh. Okay, we're going to have to stop there, and we'll read another bit tomorrow. Have a great evening, guys. Have a lovely day tomorrow. Make sure you get all that work done, and make sure that you have fun and enjoy yourselves as much as you can. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon, we hope. Okay, bye-bye.